and welcome to tonight's tutorial. Thank you for joining me. I'm Pam Wrigley and I am a bridal hairstylist. And tonight I'm going to show you how to create a really beautiful style that I created on one of my brides last week. And she wanted a really kind of fabulous, soft, relaxed looking style with braids. So that's what I created when we did the trial. And we only did the one style, I think, because it fitted the brief exactly. If you have any questions as we go through tonight's tutorial, please just pop your questions into the chat box. Oh, I can see my hair's doing all sorts of strange things today. That's a bit better. If you have any questions, please just pop your questions into the chat box and I will do my best to get back to them straight away. It might take me a couple of minutes because sometimes I get engrossed in creating the hairstyle. It could be, your questions could be about tonight's tutorial, or it could be about anything to do with bridal hairstyling, working as a bridal hairstylist. And we do, of course, have our online bridal hair platform where you can learn how to be a bridal hairstylist, where you can see styles like we're doing tonight, but kind of up close and in detail. But let's get on with tonight's tutorial, shall we? I've already done some hair prep, and the hair prep for this style you can see on our e-learning platform. And basically what I've done is she has got, and this is what I did for my client, I've just done lots of beachy waves using small sections of hair and my 19mm tongue. You can mix it a little bit if your client already has kind of slightly curly hair or wavy hair, or if the hair curls very easily, you could maybe use your 25mm tongs, or you could mix it up a little bit and use both. Basically what we're looking for is a kind of mixture of waves, different sizes, different directions, all over the hair. And once you've achieved this, so really for this style, the hair prep takes probably longer than creating the style. But once you get the hair prep right, everything else will fall into place. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I've done a little bit of work already because I've already created a braid on this side, but I'm going to create the braid on the other side as well. So you'll see how I do that. Now this bride, they actually met whilst they were out cycling, and she wanted this lovely casual hairstyle that looked amazing but was casual and relaxed, because they'd hired a tandem and they were going to go cycling through Hyde Park and get some pictures on the tandem. So they met cycling, so they were going to have some fabulous kind of cycling pictures. So she wanted something that would kind of go with that vibe. So very relaxed, not too structured, not too perfect, but gorgeous. And that's what I'm going to show you tonight. So the first thing to do, sorry, let me just check my questions. I can see we've got one in already. Let's have a quick look. Oh, yes, thank you, Frank. You've asked me before how to do your own hair using heated rollers. Well, you can see I've never put heated rollers in my hair because I've got this kind of curl. And what I would say is, if you want to put heated rollers in your own hair, you may have seen our heated roller tutorial, which is quite structured and precise, and it's all about the sections and getting everything just right. But when you're working with your own hair, what I would suggest you do, don't worry too much about the sections and getting everything precise. All you need to do is start off with your section at the front. What I find is if you don't worry too much about your parting, but you set your first roller kind of going back, and then the one behind, and then do the sides and the back, then when you take it out, then you can kind of decide where you want to put the part. Then you can kind of flip it to one side, to the other. That's if you're not sure where you want your parting to go. It will give you a little bit of volume, and it gives you a little bit of it gives you a little bit of kind of flexibility, so you can choose where you want the hair to go rather than going for this dead, straight, definite parting and then having to work with that. So I would just get your front section, and what I would advise is you don't work in a mirror. So you'll find it, because if you try and do it in a mirror, you're kind of trying to do things back to front, and it can get a bit confusing. So avoid the mirror. I've got a mirror in front of me here. Just get your section with your fingers. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. Bring the roller the hair forward, put the roller in, roll it back, pin it in. And you're going to do that with all your sections of hair all over. So start up with the front, so you can, and the front and the sides, so you can get that hair out of the way. Then do the crown and work your way down the back. Just kind of feeling your way with your sections, and kind of creating your section lines with your fingers. Make sure your rollers are nice and hot. Let them cool down, and voila. That's how I would suggest you do your rollers in your own hair. So I hope that helped. But the key is to get the rollers hot. But a little bit of spray, just hairspray on each section of hair before you pop the roller in. Hold it a little bit tighter and then put the clip in, and then it releases a little bit. So little tips, little tricks like that you will see on the heated roller tutorial. But as I say, that is quite precise, that tutorial. And it's great if you're putting rollers in somebody else's hair, but if you're doing it for yourself, you don't need to be that kind of rigid with all the sections. I hope that helped, Frank. Should we get back to tonight's style? Any more questions? Please just put your questions into the chat box. I am here to help. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to create a little bit of soft height. Now, you're not necessarily bringing everything back here with this style. We're kind of just bringing it kind of down, and let me get a bobby pin or two, bringing the hair down and popping a grip across the back. So I'm just kind of holding it into position, making sure I'm happy with the shape that all these little sections are creating. And you might want to get a little bit more height here with the hair, find out what your client wants. Bring these sections back and pop in a couple of bobby pins just across the back to hold everything in position. Quite low. That's it. Might bring this one in from the side here. Get my pins ready. That's it. So it's kind of the foundation for the style. Then I'm going to bring this in here. So it's kind of coming down. You're happy with all the piecey sections. If your lady has highlights, make sure you're happy with, where the hair is, where each of the highlighted sections of hair is sitting. That's it. So that's our foundation to the style. Let's pop that one back in. That's it. And then you're going to create your braid. And I did a little bit of work earlier. I left these sections and I've clipped them. I'm working with a mirror here, just off camera, by the way. So I've clipped these sections away, so I don't include them in the braid. Now, on some of these braids, you might have seen that I kind of do almost like a lace braid. So I'm just adding from one side. But what I'm going to do with this particular braid is I'm going to add from both sides. And I've made the section line at the side so it's not straight. It's a bit kind of, I've just made it with my fingers. So it's not kind of made with a comb. It's not a clean, straight section line, because we don't want the section line to be visible when we complete the braid. And I'm going to do here a French braid. Let me see if I can turn so you can see. So just taking these sections over, and then I'm going to add a section. and go over. Add a section here to the back and go over. And you can leave more hair out. You know, you can do a much wider section if you want to, depending how thick you want your braid to be. And I'm just adding sections and taking and creating a French braid. So we do have tutorials on different kinds of braids on our e-learning site. And I think we might have a couple here on YouTube as well, but I'm sure you can, there are lots of places you can find out how to do this lovely French braid. So it looks quite tight at the moment, but in a minute we're going to loosen it all out. So as I say, and here we go, start loosening. So if you're, back to Frank's question earlier, so if you are doing heated rollers on yourself, you might find it easier. And usually when I'm teaching this, when we have done courses where people have been learning how to do their own hair, it's a bit like learning how to blow dry your hair. You'll find it's a small thing, but you'll find not looking in the mirror. You think looking in the mirror is going to make it easier to style your own hair. But when you're kind of just learning, you almost have to feel your way. And looking in the mirror just confuses things because you can't tell which way you're doing anything. So ditch the mirror when you're doing your own hair and just you know, do it one day when you kind of, I don't know, you're watching a movie or something, so you don't have to, you know, it's not, your hair doesn't have to be perfect that evening, so it kind of takes the pressure off. Practice putting the rollers in, and you want to make sure your hair is clean. Ideally, you know, you don't want it to, it could be, you could have washed it maybe the day before, but you don't want it to be kind of dirty. If it's remotely greasy, your result will be really quite rubbish. So clean hair is better, but not overly conditioned, so you don't all soft and silky. Okay, so here we go, creating our lovely relaxed hairstyle. Let's keep loosening and create this braid, and you can see how because we have that kind of zigzaggy line, and because we've loosened the braid out quite a lot here, you don't see this kind of part, the section line between the two, and it kind of blends effortlessly into the rest of the hair, which is exactly what we want. Take that a bit further down. Keep on loosening the hair, and then once you've got the, probably, you know what, the braids probably take after the hair prep, getting the braids right probably takes, you know, about the same amount of time as doing the rest of the style because it's super quick. And when I did this for Daya, I think we spent an hour on hair prep and maybe half an hour creating the style. Let me just bring her in a little bit. It's very sunny in London tonight. It's been a bit, let me lift her up so you can see that a bit better, I think. Yeah. It's a very sunny evening here. That's it, loosen. And you could put a little band on there. You could just put a little clip for now. So, and I'm going to leave these down. And now if your lady's got kind of quite short hair or quite fine hair and she wants the bun to be quite big, then you could always create a little kind of squishy bit of padding like this. And I've done this, we've got this on one of our other tutorials, but basically it is a little piece of donut that I cut the donut up and I've mixed it, I've used a little bit of this Afro kinky hair, just a little bit, a few pieces, loosen it out, and then you can wrap that into the padding. But if your lady, like Daya, had a lot of hair, she's got a lot of hair, then you could just use a little bit of padding. Depends how big you want the bun, and it depends how much hair your client's got. So she's got quite a lot of hair, and this practice head's got quite a lot of hair. So I don't need a big piece of padding. We've got all those bobby pins, remember, across the back. So they need to be secure. So when you put those in, make sure they're not kind of flopping around anywhere, because although we're creating a soft, relaxed looking style, it has to be very secure. So remember my bride I mentioned earlier on, she was going to be riding her tandem around central London through Hyde Park. So the hair, you can't have the hair kind of feeling like it's going to be falling out. She needs to be able to forget about her hair and enjoy her wedding day. So once you've got that in place, then all you need to do is get your sections of hair. You could do it in 2 or 3 sections. And you're just going to twist, pull, prop it up in place. Super easy. Pin it in. Just use a little pin to prop it just until you're absolutely sure. Let me check the questions again. Let's have a little look. How many types of braiding? Okay. Thank you, Adra. Adra's asked how many braiding techniques you need to learn. Well, I'd say the basics are the French, Dutch. Waterfall comes in handy. French, Dutch, fishtail. Let's have a look. Yeah, I like that. And this is all we're going to do, basically. Pick up pieces and twist. You don't need too many pieces. You could do it in 2, maximum 3. Twist and pin it up. I mean, on the online course, we have about, I think we've got about, in our braiding section, we've got about 12 or 13 different tutorials, but there's lots of different braiding techniques you can use, and also different styles you can use where you can incorporate braids into those styles. Now, if you have short hair, if you're working with fine hair, you can even use the ends here as an extra little piece just to finish it off. So don't waste any bit of hair. Don't kind of be tempted to just roll like that, because then, I mean, it can look okay, but if you don't do that maybe until you're on the last piece, because you might find you need a bit of extra hair. And remember, you've wrapped all that hair up in that little twist there. So it's probably better, rather than doing that, is to just twist, loosen, prop it in somewhere. Oh my goodness, it's looking divine. And you see how that hair prep has just meant, taking the time on that hair prep has just meant that here now it's super speedy. We use this little bit here, little bit, pop a bobby pin on the end. Let me turn around so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So turn her around there. We've got a little section here. So even the ends come in handy. Pop a bobby pin on there, and there it is. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can bring her in a little bit. So bobby pins there, just here. Then we're going to come in, and we've got, of course, that lovely bit of padding there. That's sticking out a bit, but I'll come back to that in a minute. Let's see what we can do with that bit. Yeah, bring that over there. And the padding. So the padding just gives us the flexibility. That's it, to be able to, I'm loving it already. It just means we can have our styles looking soft and relaxed, but they're really secure. Now it's up to you here whether or not you put the braids on top. If you'd wanted to, we could have put them underneath here so that the style goes on top. So the bun, they kind of go into the bun a bit more. But it's kind of all personal preference. Here we go. I might just shove that in there. go in here and you can see what I'm doing. Pick up a bit of the padding. You can do your up and over. You've probably seen me doing that on some other styles. And this is the end of the hair from that braid. I'm going to use that in a minute when we finish. And then here again. Oh, I'm loving this style. Quick, easy, and it's really all about the hair prep. And then the rest of the style, and that padding makes it secure. You could maybe spray a bit of wax on the end of some of these little sections. If your lady has particularly dry hair, as my practice head does, pop a bobby pin on the end of this little section of hair here, twist it, push it in, into the padding, fab. And the same with this bit. You can twist a bit, you could spray it a little bit, put a bobby pin on there. Into that padding. So the padding kind of gives us, it can do a couple of things, the padding. It can provide bulk and volume if your lady doesn't have very much hair and she wants a larger bun. But if you've got lots of hair, it provides an anchor and it gives you security for your style. So you can be sure it's going to stay in and look gorgeous, whatever your bride's doing that day. So there we go. A gorgeous, quick, easy, beautiful style. So thank you for joining me again tonight. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Why not? And if you have any styles you'd like to learn, then just drop me a line. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for joining me. Take care. Bye.